And we are live. Welcome to the Franchise Academy. My name is Tom Scarta, and this is the new segment, the Franchise Front Runner, where we showcase top performing franchise owners. So, what's really cool tonight is I have a candidate who I placed in a company called 360 Painting literally 30 days ago. And so he hit the ground running. He's making things happen, kind of stumbling a little bit, which is always what happens. And it's a beautiful thing because he's here still to talk about it anyway. So welcome, Anthony Tassoni.
Hey Tom, how are you? Thanks so much for having me. It's been an exciting ride so far. I'm looking forward to speaking with you tonight.
Yeah, this is great. Well, thanks for taking out the time. I know you're crazy busy, probably 12 hours a day doing crazy stuff. So it's 30 days. Where are you located?
Havertown, Pennsylvania, so just outside of Philadelphia.
Cool. And so what did you do before you bought this 360 Painting franchise?
So I've been working with a software company for the last 15 years, doing sales, marketing, business analysis, analytics, things like that. Kind of an operational jack of all trades.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right, cool. So I know that it's been a very small amount of time you've been in business, but any kind of lesson that you've learned just in the first, 3 weeks, 30 days, whatever it's been?
Try to mitigate as much of the unknown as possible. I would say is my biggest lesson that I've learned so far. When I was thinking about what we were going to be talking about tonight, I kind of looked back on something from graduate school, where it's essentially the four quadrants, and it's called Johari's window. It's a cognitive psychology concept, but when applied to business, it's equally as practical. And just humor me for a second while I go through, because I think two of the spaces are particularly salient to a new business owner of any kind. So the four spaces are defined as, hey, the open space, known to you and known to others. There's the blind spots, which are unknown to yourself, but known to others. There's the hidden area, known to yourself and unknown to others. And then there's the fourth area, the unknown area, unknown to yourself, unknown to others. So, in the interest of being succinct, I think I spent a lot of time I know I spent a lot of time while I was doing validations for lots of different franchises over the last 12 months, working in the blind spot, things that others know, franchisees, other owners, things like that, yourself, things that experts in the space know that I don't know. Try to ask as many questions as possible, ask prodding questions. Where I spent as much time as I could, but just the nature of it all is that fourth unknown area, which is really where that danger lies. You don't know it, others don't know it. You're not sure what to ask or how to ask it. You're just trying to go and check as many boxes as you can to make sure that area, when you start, is as small as possible.
Yeah, really, really well said. Bringing very high, in-depth knowledge to basic painting franchise, which is very well done. That was really good. And I love the way that analogy is so true. And you're right. Validation is the only way to really do it. So, in your opinion, what's a great business book that you've read, or really any book that you could share with folks?
So I was going back to when this question makes me really think. So I went back to a book, Getting Naked, Patrick Lencioni.
Hmm.
And it's a business fable. It's a quick read. If you have an Audible subscription, that'll work as well. It's about 200 pages, and it's essentially how it was particularly for us. Our executives distributed it in 2009, when we were in consulting and services business, professional services, and in the rush of the global recession was really hitting, in particular, consulting businesses in particular. They distributed it out to us, and as we took a look at it and we read through it, it's essentially how vulnerability is so disarming and honesty is so disarming, and how moving forward with that with customers actually helps build the rapport, so much so that if you just walk in and ask the questions and make the suggestions and aren't afraid to say, I don't know, things that are common sense, yet sometimes not common practice, you're actually winning customer loyalty. And that at the end of the day, when the bid comes in, they're much less concerned about what the price is of the service, albeit so long as it's not outlandish, and they're much more interested in you and what you can do for them.
Yeah.
That's one that I would recommend to anybody who could read it, and it's not a long book.
So Get Naked by who is the author again?
Getting Naked, Patrick Lencioni.
That is so cool. That is really cool. So a lot of people that listen to the podcast are folks that are thinking about buying a franchise right now. What advice would you give to somebody? I mean, you're fresh out of the gate here. You just went through the whole due diligence process. What advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about buying a franchise right now?
If you're thinking about buying a franchise right now, let's go back a couple steps to where I had answered the first question. Validate, validate, validate. Talk to owners, read the disclosure documentation, take the extra step and time to hire an attorney to go over not just the FDD, but the agreement portion of the disclosure documentation. Explicitly, you're signing the agreement. It's expensive, but you have someone who's a professional who has their eyes on that documentation, who's then, after they read it, walking you through it, highlighting the good, highlighting the bad. I remember one of the items that gave me a sense of comfort moving into my agreement with 360 was that my attorney had mentioned during our review with all of the, it's a 180-page document, the whole FDD. We're focusing on the 80 pages that are the agreement themselves. Focusing on 80 pages of highlighted things that are all written in legalese, and then having the attorney say, "Hey, this is actually, at the end of the day, an agreement that's written very much in favor of a franchisee." So it was a nice, well-balanced franchise agreement, and having somebody, or having somebody say, "Hey, this is standard. These percentages, these royalty percentages are standard. You're not going to want to do any type of negotiation there." Things like that. Do as much to take away the unknown and the risk as you can.
Yeah.
And if there are questions that aren't answered, or questions that are folks refuse to answer, if something feels wrong, it's wrong. Don't move forward, and don't go for the quick talking.
Yeah, very well said. And if you are using an attorney, I just like to say it must be a franchise attorney, not anyone else who might be a friend who's a real estate attorney or a divorce attorney, because that franchise law is so niche. So you don't want to have somebody go to school on your dime trying to figure it out. So and there's great resources. So you can go to the franchiseacademy.com for resources for attorneys and also for accountants for that matter. So Anthony, I want to thank you so much for being on the Franchise Frontrunners podcast. And you are in what part of Philadelphia, in case anybody needs their building painted?
If you need something painted, I'm serving outside of Philadelphia and some of the Philadelphia area. 360 Painting of Havertown. Tom, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come on and speak to you, and for you working with me for 12 months before, and several concepts before I decided to settle on one. You were a real inspiration to me yourself, and I would say that to anybody who's asked. You certainly helped. I can't say enough. You helped me with the process, and I'm forever appreciative of that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate those accolades. I really do.
It's a pleasure.
Yep. God bless you. God bless your family. And we talk again very soon. Thanks.
You as well. Talk soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.